Welcome to the Kent Lapp Podcast.
So when we were at the Brown Center, we met a few parents that were doing some different things. We were still seeing like a traditional pediatrician here, and I was still kind of questioning whether or not I felt like vaccines played a role. But we went for his 4-year checkup, and he got his second round of like MMR and whatever else they give. And he immediately, like within an hour, developed a rash and a fever. And then I started noticing like more exaggerated behaviors and some aggression and just overall like super irritable. And just like he was just an unhappy child at that point. Like he had always been happy-go-lucky, but he just sort of, it was like the light went out in his eyes.
Wow.
And at that point, I was like, there's no doubt in my mind that like we just did more damage.
Oh, wow.
And that was something that like was really hard to live with once we figured out kind of like what components we felt like played a role.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I definitely think there's some environmental issues that like can contribute to the overall load in your body of like inflammation. And then I think vaccines just kind of tipped the bucket for him.
So this is at 4 years old, and he got a second round of MMR and some other stuff.
4 or 5, I can't remember what year.
Okay.
That's right before kindergarten, so he was probably like 4.5.
Okay. So you did have a couple years there where you knew little Chase had autism, but you were still okay with vaccines?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I wouldn't say okay. I just still trusted mainstream medical advice about what is best.
Sure. So were you keeping him on the recommended vaccine schedules from like 2 to 5?
Pretty much. But, you know, after 2, it kind of is like really spaced out. They don't get a whole lot.
Yeah.
And he really wasn't sick all that much, I don't think. I mean, nothing like, well, I say that. I don't actually, when we moved here, I feel like they were sick all the time, but it was like random fever viruses. And I don't know. I don't know if it was just a change in atmosphere or like, you know, being exposed to school and kids and daycare and stuff.
So with the second MMR and him like showing those signs so soon, like an hour after, are you saying then that kind of behavior, that behavior stuck for years? Or are you just saying kind of there was a shift in him for a couple of weeks?
No, I mean, I think it stuck. I mean, he wasn't super, like the irritability, the fever, like that kind of thing was more short-lived. But I think at that point it was an eye-opener for Chase and for me. And we were like, okay, yes, we had kind of always questioned it. And that like was the seal of like, okay, well, this is it. This is a major thing.
Right. And knowing that he has autism, because whoever is giving him these vaccines, obviously at this point, everyone's well aware this kid has autism, right?
Yes. But they don't believe that vaccines play any kind of role. And they don't know anything about gut health or any of the like, at the time it was like biomed.
Okay.
So like alternative testing or, you know, anytime I asked for any of that stuff, just because I like started researching different tests and different things about gut health and allergies and food sensitivities, you know, our pediatrician was like, well, I mean, we don't do that. So we started with an allergist, like a traditional allergist, and did like food allergy testing. But most all of that, I mean, it was fine because like he doesn't have a true allergy. It's a sensitivity.